applications for submission, easing some compliances, extension of time limits under CGST, and exemption of donations made under PM CARES Fund. Sir, under Vivad Se Vishwas Act, Honorable Finance Minister also proposed to extend the date for payment without any additional amount till 31st of December 2020. These are all welcome measures and are hence, on behalf of my party, support this bill and justify the ordinance brought by the government. Sir, with your permission, I wish to make a few observations on some of the provisions of the bill and wish to make a few suggestions for the consideration of Honorable Finance Minister. Sir, real estate sector has got the biggest dribbling due to this pandemic. It is the second largest provider of employment after agriculture and also contributing more than 10% to the GDP. There is no doubt that Government of India has taken some measures, but the main demand of the real estate sector is to give industry or infrastructure status. Secondly, GST is not giving them input tax credit. Because of this, the burden is falling on the home buyers. So will the Honorable Finance Minister restore input tax credit and give industry or infrastructure status to real estate sector is what I want to ask. And sir, what are the reasons that despite accommodative monetary policy stand of Government of India, banks instead of lending are parking their reserves with RBI? If that is so, what is the point of having such a monetary policy and how RBI would discourage and disincentivize banks to park their reserves with RBI? Can we have a 0% reverse repo rate which forces banks to lend to kickstart the economic cycle is something the Honorable Minister should answer, sir. Sir, also I'd like to mention the point regarding PM CARES, where I certainly believe that there should be more transparency in use of PM CARES Fund created to deal with the pandemic. The Army, Navy, Air Force, Defence PSUs and employees of the Defence Ministry have collectively donated rupees 500 crore. When donations are made from taxpayers' funds by government bodies, the public has the right to know where it is going. This is where the problem lies, sir, its lack of transparency. The central government has stated that CAG will not audit the fund, rather it will be audited by independent auditors, whereas I believe that the PM CARES Fund has been created with a just cause to deal with the pandemic, so it shouldn't be dealt with this kind of controversy. So if the central government has nothing to hide regarding this, let the CAG audit this and make it more. Sir, one last point is regarding the GST for the states. Now, I don't want to argue with the point that force majeure is being constantly used to explain this kind of situation. But in any kind of agreement, sir, let it be whatever the nature of the business or the nature of the parties, this clause is already there. But what kind of chain reaction will the central government create if it is saying to the states that because of this force majeure clause, we can't pay you CGST, whereas it is the responsibility of them. So with big heart, in this kind of difficult times, the central government should come forward and create an example. Whereas if the farmers and some companies, if the companies come tomorrow and say to the farmers that because of this force majeure we can't pay you, it can lead to a very bad chain reaction in the country also, which we might not be able to stop. So that's why the central government should rethink on the GST revenues which they have to give to the state government, especially with Andhra Pradesh, sir. It is going under a real financial crisis, and it is necessary for the central government to interfere and give sufficient funds so that we get back on track. Thank you very much, sir.
Honorable Member,